had a chance to visit with farmer David Price as he delivered beef to Bolyard's in Maplewood, and here's the conversation.
So my name's David Price. My business is Price Family Farms, LLC. We've been in business for about 25 years now. My history is I'm a city kid. I'm actually an educator by trade. My background is as a middle school educator. And we started our beef business back in 2000. And really it wasn't meant to be a beef business. It was actually just my wife and I buying a farm out in southwestern Lincoln County, and with the idea of just to have a sustenance type operation anyway, where we were growing some hogs and have a vegetable garden and chickens and beef, and so we had multiple components going, and the beef thing really just kind of took off, and it wasn't our intention. What we would do is we would raise 3 animals annually, and we would keep a half back for ourselves. We'd give her folks a half, we'd give my folks a half, and then we'd sell the other 3 halves to just pay for it all. So it really wasn't a business per se. It was just, to grow food for our family that we knew where it was coming from, it was healthy, and give the kids an opportunity to watch their food grow and be a part of that. And so then my folks would have somebody over for supper, and they were used to getting their beef from wherever, IGA or Deerberg's, or not to, take away from those
all
businesses.
The markets.
Yeah, all the various local markets. And they said, "Where did you get this beef?" And, my mom would say, "Well, David will finish out a beef for you if that's something you're interested in." And so then it started, and folks would call us up and say, "Hey, can you finish out a beef for us?" And I thought, well, I've got something here. And so then while I was off in the summer, not teaching, I tried my hand at selling a couple of, just some steaks and some roasts and some ground beef at a farmer's market, and really to drum up the bulk side of the business, just by selling piecemeal and letting people know, hey, if you buy a quarter, half, or whole beef, your price per pound is going to come way down. And so hook, line, and sinker, we got them, and it really started to snowball from there, and I thought, wow, this is cool. I mean, 30 cows are a lot easier to deal with than 30 middle schoolers, And so really this whole thing has been really cool. I eventually got a job with Lincoln University Cooperative Extension as a field educator, and I did that, which allowed me to work from home, which allowed me to continue to be there on the farm physically and to grow my business and to do some networking and see what other guys were doing and take pieces and parts from their operations that I thought would really fit well, and then kind of work that into my own production system and our own marketing, and so just pulling ideas and keeping what works and doing away with that which didn't. But from an education standpoint, then I was able to use my own operation as a, kind of an educative tool for those who were interested, specifically other small farmers that I was working with while I was working for Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. And then once we started getting down in here into the city to do this specific thing, we had other restaurants, butcher shops reaching out to us, and Chris was one of the first. And it's interesting, so he was getting a side of beef a week, and then he had some turnover in his kitchen or in his shop. So these guys that work in this particular industry, they go from butcher shop to restaurant, and then they go to a different restaurant or a different butcher shop, and they're like,
they always say, hey, call.
Yeah, we were working with Price's beef. That was exceptional. Why don't you give them a call? And so, it just continued to snowball. So, we were here, and we've been here for the last, 7, 8 years, as long as Chris has been in business.
Yeah.
We've been his beef source. And then, so again, we're working with a lot of different butcher shops and restaurants here in the city and the county now.
Yeah.
And it's been really a lot of fun.
So tell me, how would you describe the farming side of it? Like, the cattle, what you're doing in terms of the production practices, all of those things.
Okay, cool. So we do something, I don't know that it's extraordinary, but we've taken facets from the conventional side that I think work, and we've taken facets from the more pasture-raised side, which I think work. So we keep the animals on pasture their entire lives. We don't ever limit them to high concentrated feed ration or limit them to like a feed yard type scenario. So we keep them on pasture. They've got 7 different grasses, 3 different legumes to dine on whenever they want. We use rotational grazing just to make sure that we keep a smorgasbord of fresh forages in front of them all the time. During the final 4 to 6 months of their productive lives, we offer them free choice grains. In the morning and in the evening, I hand feed them, as do the other producers that are helping me meet our market demand now. And so it's just a 9-to-1 ratio, 9 parts shell corn, and then 1 part soybean hulls for protein. There's no steroids or medication in the feed. Some of it we grow, some of it we buy from other producers anyway. It's just typically a hybrid variety corn, and then the protein, the soybean hulls come from elevator up in Mexico, Missouri, or a processing plant up in Mexico, Missouri. So that's that. The pastures where they graze, all their lives are free of any pesticides, herbicides, synthetic fertilizers, even in the winter. We do offer hay in the winter. Actually, we offer hay year round. Now, in the winters, we will, from time to time, have to corral the animals and keep them in what we would call just kind of what do we typically call this? Just a sacrifice pasture, which, because when things start to get soggy, and we've got frost and thaw and frost and thaw, you have a lot of mud worked up, and so we don't want to damage the soil profile in our regular production pastures. So they'll eat a little bit more hay during that period of time once they work over those sacrifice areas.
I talk to people across the U.S. with this, and a lot of people probably don't realize how hilly parts of Missouri are. And ice and snow and freezing mud. On hillsides.
So they can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. These are large animals, and just on 4 feet, right? And so we want to reserve our good pasture land for the growing season, and not have to rework it. We don't want to do any damage to the soil profile, like I said, because we've put a lot of time and effort into managing those pastures over the years. So they are very vibrant, very lush, very nutritious. So I think, that's pretty much it.
I don't think you told me much about the genetics.
So on the genetic side, so we're let's see, that the cows are 50% Simmental, 50% Angus. The bulls are 100% Angus. So the final product is a 75% Angus, 25% Simmental. And usually our ribeye scores are outstanding. Most often, we are in the high choice to low prime category as far as USDA grading is concerned. It's a very consistent product. So
tell me the difference for you, because every farmer and rancher is so different on this. Why do you pick that kind of Angus and Simmental mix? What do the 2 breeds bring you?
Well, I think with the Simmental, you get the frame. With the Angus, you get the marbling. That's just outrageous and what everybody wants, especially down here. Right? So I really think that's it. And we got easy calving heifers, first-time heifers that produces. We don't have to be out in the pasture helping. They can calve on their own.
So tell me, what do you do before you come to a place like this? What was the process between your farm and unloading that trailer today?
Oh yeah, so I left, so this morning when I woke up, I did all the things that everybody does when they wake up, and then I went out and fed the heifers that we have on our home farm. Then thereafter, I hooked up to the trailer, which was running overnight, so that it was cool this morning when I took off, at around 25, 30 degrees. I headed to the processing plant. The gentleman there at the processing plant pulled the halves out on the rail system, broke them right there, bagged them, and then we loaded them in the refrigerated trailer, and then I headed this direction.
So we were unloading quarters.
We were unloading halves, and each half was broken down into 3 sections: a forequarter, a hindquarter, and then a rib section.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What else would you like me to know? Like where do people find you online?
Yeah, so pricefamilyfarm.com, and they can call us anytime. I'm always available, 636-358-8060.
Instagram, Facebook.
All those, yeah, sure enough. Yeah, at the Price Family Farm on Instagram, and the same on Facebook.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
Thanks for checking out our videos. We'd love for you to subscribe, watch some more videos, follow our podcast in general. I'm your host, Janice Fersen.